Today, the North American supply chain is seizing up, crushed by the compounding economic friction of 2026. Ocean gateways like the Port of Vancouver are seeing import containers sit idle for 10 to 13 days. Add to that a relentless fuel surcharge averaging 29.5% across the industry, and the entire system drags. The primary pressure point is the cross-dock terminal. This is the central operational node where international ocean freight, rail lines, and domestic trucking corridors converge. Because these networks are so tightly coupled, friction at a single terminal door cascades outward. One delayed offload triggers national economic delays, staggering demurrage fees, and ultimately failed delivery networks. During the harsh winter months, major rail carriers enforce mandatory train length reductions and strict speed limits across Western Canada. This drastically cuts the volume of freight moving inland. The downstream effect is immediate. Unscheduled, massive waves of delayed import containers suddenly arrive and cluster at inland rail yards, completely overwhelming local drayage networks. Cross-dock facilities are architected for rapid flow-through velocity. They do not have the physical capacity for long-term storage. When these simultaneous container drop-offs hit the yard, unloading teams are paralyzed by the backlog. Without a predictable, steady flow of inbound rail freight, the physical capacity of the terminal yard breaks down. Operators are forced to double-handle staged pallets just to clear floor space, incurring a massive financial loss. The mandatory Canada Border Services Agency CARM system means importers must now secure and post their own direct surety bonds for customs clearance. This chart illustrates the system's automatic trap. If an unexpected seasonal volume surge pushes an importer's shipment value past their established bond ceiling, the release prior to payment status is instantly revoked. The cargo is immediately placed on administrative hold. Those inbound containers will now sit idle at the terminal for 3 to 5 business days, accruing demurrage fees while the surety company processes a bond cap increase. A minor documentation error now triggers administrative monetary penalty system fines, reaching up to 20,000 Canadian dollars. Alternatively, it can force a Tier 3 intensive exam, costing forwarders up to $3,000 in unrecoverable drayage and storage per container. Errors in administrative compliance now create direct financial exposure, eroding freight forwarder margins through immediate penalties and unrecoverable handling fees. Looking at this map of major logistics corridors, we see why operators cannot simply build larger terminals to hold delayed freight. Industrial vacancy rates in hubs like Toronto and Vancouver are critically low, hovering between 1.8 and 4.5%, with net leases pushing $22 per square foot. When pallets are held up by CARM delays, they clog these highly expensive limited staging grids. They block fork truck transit lanes and severely cripple the building's throughput density. When freight finally clears the dock door, it hits an outbound wall. Canada is operating with a severe deficit of over 20,000 commercial truck drivers. A strict regulatory crackdown on the Driver Inc. misclassification model in early 2026 removed vast amounts of non-compliant carrier fleets from the highways overnight, permanently tightening cross-border freight capacity. When a congested warehouse tries to load freight onto a shrinking pool of available trucks, legacy operations simply cannot maintain their required throughput. Survival in this environment requires forwarders to proactively automate the specific administrative and physical friction points within the terminal network. AI platforms now cross-reference commercial invoices and classification codes directly against current CBSA tariff databases. This automated validation clears cargo while vessels are still physically at sea. Inside the facility, operators are maximizing their fixed real estate footprints. Autonomous mobile robots transport sorted pallets directly to outbound bays, while automated software instantly optimizes yard door assignments based on destination density. To bypass the driver shortage, enterprise transportation management systems dynamically rate shop across vetted asset-based carriers. If a primary tender is rejected, the system instantly reroutes the freight to ensure no pickups are missed. Integrating these digital and physical tools allows forwarders to run their cross-dock facilities as resilient, high-velocity distribution nodes rather than fixed bottlenecks.